Good morning, good afternoon. Kent Bain with Nine Business Group and Elevate Chat. We have Sam joining us today, Sam Hale with Nutrimeals. Sam, please introduce yourself, your company, and welcome to Elevate Chat.
Sure, thank you. So my name's Sam. I'm one of the co-founders of Nutrimeals. Started out as a prepared meal company delivering meals across Alberta. Kind of telling Kent a little bit earlier is that we are differentiating ourselves by basically providing a ready-to-eat product instead of a prepared or a meal that you have to create or cook yourself. So what we do is have an e-commerce store which allows the user to order a week's worth of meals and then basically have them in their fridge lined up for the entire week and then heat them up as they're ready to go. Just a huge convenience play, basically, and kind of what we really strive on is having a consistent product as well as a quality product that, you know, like I was telling Kent earlier, it's just that retention piece of the business that kind of brings the customers back instead of really focusing on like a cheap acquisition strategy. And then we're also reliable. So when I say that is that we have, set delivery days. When the customer orders their meals online, they know exactly when they're coming because they chose the time and the day they're coming. So kind of making sure that we're part of their lives and creating a new habit for the user and really creating a place where healthy meals and convenience coexist.
Cool. Gonna recommend you to my daughter.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think there's lots of opportunity for her because she's a young person, and the convenience of fast food and skip the dishes and all that is probably not doing any of our young people a favor. So good alternative choices is a great idea, and she's about as lazy as the next 20 something. So pre-cooked food's probably not a bad idea for her. So thanks. Since starting in business just a few short years ago, what's been the biggest challenge you've had to overcome? How did you tackle it? How did you solve it? And what's the outcome today?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go totally left field and have a much different challenge than most people have, but my business partner is also my life partner. So for us to be able to go between business conversation and personal conversation is like very, very difficult. So when we kind of look at our conversations and time together, we have to be really strategic on, who are we at that time? Are we the business partner or are we the boyfriend or girlfriend, right? So that's probably been the biggest challenge. And we've kind of overcome that by just setting boundaries and understanding, not even time, but it's just offering, like, if someone's upset, are you looking for support or a solution? Usually the solution is the business side of things. Then support is obviously being that life partner and having that loving relationship between us. Going back to like a more conventional approach is that actually scaling is really hard. Like we're, to date have been a bootstrap company. So we haven't had any external funding yet. Maybe we will in the future. But we find ourselves in this market where there's a lot of our competitors that are in the, like I said, the meal kit spaces, which are now getting into the prepared meal spaces. So we have these companies which are offering, a service that is similar to ours, although they may be frozen meals instead of cooked meals. It doesn't mean that their quality isn't good, right? So for us, it's just kind of, doing our SWOT analysis, seeing where our threats are and also our opportunities are. And the nice thing is about being a small company, we kind of create those relationships with our customers a little bit more than those larger companies. Like if you call us, you're going to talk to a real person. It's not going to be, a call center or a chat bot, right? So we're kind of working on that, but in the grand scheme of things, like we're more taking it on the technology side anyways. So we're kind of scaling with scaling our dietary services. So not only are we differentiating ourselves by having a prepared fresh meal product, we also offer, dietary services where someone can meet with our dietitian. They can have a meal plan made for the entire month, and then they can basically just follow the meal plan to reach their goal, and then have that consistent, bi-weekly or weekly delivery to their door.
I might have to hook you up for the office. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, we
Okay,
have lots of offices that are included as well. So it's just the convenient aspect where they're always health inspired meals. So it's always going to have a balance, and our chef and dietitian work together to kind of create the best melody of both.
nice. What is one thing you know now that you wish you would have known when you started your business?
I think there's a lot of things, but I think the biggest thing that I can think of at the top of my mind would be collaboration. A lot of times when startup founders and I guess entrepreneurs, business owners, they get very private because they think their idea is just the best idea ever. And I think that, that may be the case, may not be the case. But what I found is that I was being really reserved and I would never really share kind of what we were working on. And that's like a big example of that is when we launched our automated kiosks. I didn't really want to share what we were doing until, we were the first. But sometimes, in business, I kind of learned this through my years. It's like you want to be first, best, or different. And to be honest, sometimes being a close second isn't a bad thing. But just sharing more and getting feedback would be really important because we're 20 somethings as well, and we started this business right out of university. So We didn't have all the experience that we probably should have had for starting a business. So it would be nice to have a little bit of guidance, more mentorship, and then typically people prefer giving advice than receiving it anyways, because giving gifts is better than receiving. But I think from a younger entrepreneur standpoint is that it should be important to really leverage your network and even reach out to new people as well and just ask for advice.
Great advice indeed. So just a combination there to summarize, a combination of open-mindedness and collaboration, and really just looking to your network and also outside your network for advice, for opinions, for best strategies to really kind of round out your thinking, or even to talk it through. So excellent
Exactly.
advice indeed.
Even coaching, like the one thing I always brushed off was like business coaching. And I don't know if I was being stubborn or that excuse is there's no time, but I think that it's always nice to have, an external opinion that can kind of point you in the right direction. And I kind of found that out a little bit later on. So now I cherish it, but before I was probably not too inviting.
All good, man. What are the top 3 challenges that your industry faces the next 18 to 24 months?
Yeah, I think this is quite a dynamic environment. If you look at e-commerce itself, it's only been around for like 20 years. If you look at the launch of Amazon, the food industry being online, probably half that, maybe even less. So for us, what I think right now is that the prices to reach customers are getting quite expensive, and also the rebound of retail. So for the last 2 years, people have been basically only shopping online and getting things delivered, or picking up, with social distancing, COVID, and things like that. And I think now that those means are opening again, there's going to be more opportunity in that retail space, right? So luckily we do have exposure there, but I think that as our main bread and butter is direct to consumer, we have to be wary of that, as well as the supply chain issues that we've been facing with couriers. So we noticed that, for example, shipping a product from here to Edmonton has gone up, here to Lethbridge, wherever it might be. So it's just working those into your business model and making sure that your cost of goods are still at a reasonable percentage, and going from there. Again, I'll kind of go back to another challenge would be new competitors entering the space with a lot larger marketing budgets and things like that. That's always going to be a concern, but that's where we have to differentiate ourselves. And I think that's kind of also a good thing for business. Like, challenges typically make you resilient, and then you can kind of pivot your business as you need to kind of make sure that you're on the right track.
Excellent. What is your definition of a successful business?
So my definition would be like, maybe not a definition, but a result would be that you're solving a problem for the consumer. The reason why I think we've been successful is because we were solving our own problem. Like, one, I hate cooking. So we wanted to make sure we do it once a week and prepare our meals for the entire week. Or, we're the service, you cook never. You never cook, and you get the meals, and you still eat healthy, and you receive a result that you want if it's an intent-based eating program, right? So I think that's key. Number one is having a problem that you're solving. And I think the second thing that people maybe miss, especially in like the unicorn startup world, is that you have to be profitable. I think if you're going to be a business, the point is, especially a profit-driven business, is that you have to have profit to be able to be considered successful. And that's just kind of the way it goes. And maybe it may not be the first couple of years, but I think eventually there should be a scalability where you can become profitable. So I think that's probably the next biggest thing.
Yeah, I would agree. It's funny how in doing these interviews, we've gotten different answers, and probably only a third to half of the time we end up with that conversation around profitability. And I'm kind of going, cash to a business and profit to a business is the equivalent of oxygen to a human being. So good on you for learning that lesson and taking it to heart in year 1 and year 2.
Thank you.
Last question, and my favorite. What do you want to be known for?
Yeah, so just, I'm pretty low key guy, so I mean, I don't necessarily have to be known, but I'd like the company to be known just for providing, the opportunity for people to live healthier lives. I mean, like I said before, and I don't know if we can swear, but you can't really out-train a shitty diet. So you always want to make sure that, you're eating right. And I kind of saw a funny quote yesterday. It was like, yeah, you would die for your family, but would you eat healthy for your family? Because like, we could always extend our life or whatever it might be. And I think one of the cool quotes that I heard is that 75% of all healthcare spend is kind of related to chronic disease, which is related to diet, right? So for us, if you can just change one little thing or eat a little bit healthier, you're probably going to have much longevity in your life, as well as less health problems. So I think that's what we would love to be known for, is just helping people, whether that be save time or live a healthier life.
It's a great mandate and a great mission. So before we close off, one last plug for Sam Hale and Nutrimeals. Where can we find you? Where can they get more information to learn more about your menu options, how it all works?
Exactly, that's perfect. So you can reach us at nutrimeals.ca. It's our domain. It's also our Instagram and TikTok and all those other good thing handles. You can find us there. We rotate our menu every 2 weeks, so always check back because you'll always see something new, and that's kind of again something that we do to kind of keep our customers happy. Yeah, that's basically where you can find us. All the typical places, LinkedIn. Keep following for updates. We did just move into a new facility, which is now office space and manufacturing space. Before we were kind of using a shared commercial kitchen. So if you want updates on our move, you'll find those on LinkedIn and also on YouTube as well. Same thing, nutrimeals.ca. Kind of like a vlog style video, so more immersive. So get to see more of my face. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but the option's there if you want to watch it.
Excellent. Thank you very much. You've been more than gracious with your time, and thanks for being a great guest, and we'll bring you back real soon. Thank you.
Thanks, Kent. Appreciate that.
You're welcome.